What's the worst example of favoritism you've seen at school? Senior year, I had this English teacher named Ms. Calloway, and she didn't even try to hide her favorite student, Amber, the principal's daughter. I'm not talking about mild favoritism like extra praise here and there. I mean full-blown, blatant rules don't apply to her favoritism. Amber could turn in assignments 2, even 3 weeks late, no excuses needed. Meanwhile, if the rest of us were even a day late, we'd lose 10% per day, no discussion. Once I turned in a poem 36 hours late because of a family emergency, and I watched my grade drop from a potential A to AC+. But Amber? She could write her name on a napkin and Ms. Calloway would call it brilliant minimalism. In class discussions, it was painful to watch. Every time Amber opened her mouth, usually just echoing something someone else had said, Ms. Calloway would light up like she'd just been handed a Nobel Prize winning idea. She once called Amber's comment about The Great Gatsby revolutionary. The comment, "I think Gatsby was kinda sad." That was it. I remember raising my hand with nearly the same point 10 minutes earlier, backed with a quote and a bit of analysis. Ms. Calloway just gave me a tired nod and moved on. But the worst part came at the end of the semester, the final research project. It was worth 40% of our entire grade. The assignment was to pick an American author and write a paper analyzing their themes and impact on modern literature. I chose Steinbeck. I worked my ass off, weeks of research, including interviewing a retired professor at the local college who specialized in Steinbeck's works. I had notes, citations, revisions. I put my soul into that paper. Amber turned hers in 3 days late. She chose Sylvia Plath and submitted it with a hot pink cover page and Comic Sans font. No consequences. When the grades came out, I got a B-. I was floored. I asked Ms. Calloway for feedback. She barely looked at me and said, "Your paper lacked originality." I was stunned. I'd gone out of my way to bring in original research and real interviews, while Amber, who turned hers in late, got an A+. Ms. Calloway actually announced in class that it was the best paper she'd read all semester. I didn't want to be petty, but something felt off. So I went to a friend who worked in the library and asked if I could take a look at Amber's paper, which had been saved in the student archive folder on the shared drive. What I found made my blood boil. Whole paragraphs had been copy-pasted from online essay databases. No citations, no quotation marks, just straight-up plagiarism. It wasn't even subtle. She didn't change the wording or rearrange sentences. I pulled up the sources side by side and highlighted the matches. I didn't take it to Ms. Calloway. I knew that would go nowhere. Instead, I scheduled a meeting with the head of the English department, Mr. Ramirez. I printed everything out and walked him through it. My paper, her paper, the matching internet sources. I stayed calm, professional, just facts. He didn't say much during the meeting, but his face said enough. 2 weeks later, word got out. Ms. Calloway had been placed on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. Amber's grade was quietly changed. She never spoke a word to me again. The rest of the class had their papers reevaluated by another teacher. Mine came back as an A. And the kicker? Amber's dad, the principal, called me into his office. I thought I was about to get scolded or lectured. Instead, he sat me down and apologized. Genuinely. "I had no idea," he said. "Thank you for speaking up." Then he offered to write me a personal letter of recommendation for college. It helped me get into my dream school.